Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Dream Team's Ogres. So we're looking at all the teams available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's from the core rulebook, the Teams of Legend PDF, or the expanded NAF teams, Khorne and Slann. And we're looking at how your league team can develop. So we're looking at a roadmap for your team. Now, this is my version of an Ogre team. So what we're going to be looking at today is a team of Ogres playing Blood Bowl as an Ogre team. So we're not going to go the route of building this team to maximize on inducements for star players. We are going to have riotous rookies, but otherwise what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at kind of points in time for your team, 1250, 1500 and 1750, and what I think would be good on players, what skills, in what order, and in what amounts to make the most of an Ogre team. Now, this is my view of how an Ogre team could go together, so you put whatever skills you want on your players whenever you want to, and there's not really a bad way to do it, but my version here is kind of what I think is the optimal way to play and develop an Ogre team for League. So if you're planning on running Ogres soon or playing against them, this might give you some ideas of how Ogres can develop across their life. So we're going to start out looking at 1250. Now, however you put your Ogre team together, again, is down to you. You can go for the 3-5 or the 4-4. Now, I view the 4-4 as the best way to go. So what we've got here kind of develops from that. However, by the time you get to 1250 in your league, this is kind of where you want to be with Ogres. So what we've got is we've got 4 team rerolls and an Apothecary. You're thinking, why have we got an Apothecary? Why am I wasting 50k? Ogres are 140k. 50k on an Apothecary can save you almost 100,000 gold. So I'm a big fan of having that Apothecary. You've only got 5 Ogres at this point, so the potential to keep one of them on the pitch is phenomenally useful. Don't worry about it too early on. Ogres are really tough. Strength 5, armor 10 plus. They're just absolute beasts, okay? They're not going anywhere, but it's better to run the risk, and sometimes this 50k inducement here can basically be another Ogre, and that's a huge piece for you. So we're looking at this roster from a 1250 point of view. However, this example is only 1135. Now, the reason we've done that is because we want to keep 100k. And why do we want to keep 100k? It is to maximize our Noblars by using riotous rookies. So if your league is approaching 1250, this is where you want to be. You want to be underneath that so you can get that 2d3 plus 1 Noblars. Now, they don't have swarming like Snotlings do, but they are absolute ammunition. And they're very good players. They are sneaky good Noblars. Now, you can just spam and buy a load. Now, this roster here is 12, but even if you spent that 60k to get 4 more Noblars, you would be underneath what you could potentially have by riotous rookies. So having that 100k that you're not spending, that you can save up to buy another Ogre quicker, you can use those inducements to get absolute free players that you can just send to their death by foot or by airmail. So this roster starts out with a runt punter, and we've gone so far as to get 4 Ogre blockers as well. So we're looking at 5 Ogres by 1250. I'm thinking this roster started with 4 rerolls and 4 Ogres, so that we've added this 5th Ogre blocker in the last kind of 150k purchasing. Now, skills-wise, again, when it comes to Ogres, you can do so much. This I'm putting together with a view of tabletop, okay? Now, when Blood Bowl 3 lands and you can spam 3-4 games a night, you can save up for block all of the time. And I think what we'll see when it comes to BB3 is there will be some hardcore players that are willing to just grind out those casualties for dozens of games to get blodging Ogres. And you know what? That means that there will be some time where those PC versions of these teams are going to be highly competitive. But that is not this day. We are looking at tabletop here. So if an Ogre gets a casualty every couple of games, it's going to take you 6 games to get to 6 SPP for a casualty. If you play 2 to 3 games a month, that means that it's going to take several months for you to be able to level up with a normal skill, a primary skill on one of your Ogres. When it comes around to that, you can go, ah, sweet, I can take a skill, or you can wait another 2 to 3 months to get block. It depends how much time you've got to play, but I think when it comes to tabletop, there's going to be a massive impetus to, I want to level up my skills rather than just play with the same vanilla team for 5-6 months before I take a skill. So we are going to be looking at some normal skills for these guys, some primary skills. So the runt punter picks up leader. The reason it picks up leader is so you don't have to spend your gold on team rerolls. We've got 4 rerolls, 5 will be better. And that leader reroll there is going to save us 140k that we can then use to fill out this slot here and pick up our 6th ogre. But realistically, that leader skill and the fact we're going towards that has meant that we've already got to spend that reroll amount of money by picking up our 5th ogre. And that is going to benefit you more. So leader, although it seems a bit boring, it's going to save you. It's basically, I'll take this skill so that I can afford another ogre. So don't look at this as the runt punter has got leader. Look at it as the runt punter has got another ogre with it. That is a heck of a skill. Alright, now we've got the kind of building blocks here of our other ogre blockers. 2 of these bad boys are getting brawler. Now why are they getting brawler instead of anything else? There are some really good strength skills out there for ogres. But brawler, there's my Black Orc. Brawler is a phenomenally underrated skill. It is not as good as block. We've done the numbers, and it's not as good as pro. We've done those numbers too. But it is way better than nothing. Doesn't work on defense, but strength 5 does a pretty good job of working on defense. You don't need guard quite so early. It will be beneficial later on. Break tackle is a fantastic skill for ogres. You can break away into the open on a 2+, but my ogres on my team are going to be deployed in combat. I am going to be brawling with the opponent, and those 2-die blocks, basically it turns every other block into a 3-die block. Okay, it adds dice. If you start rolling those 3-die blocks, which you're gonna, it's going to become a 4-die block more often than not, and it's going to save you from turnovers, and it is going to allow you to hit more pals, which is going to be more casualties and more removal. And the more you remove the opponent, the better chance you've got of scoring with these guys down here. So brawler on 2, and the third one gets strong arm. So we've got this guy who can kick things, and we've got this guy then who can start throwing. Now strong arm is going to give you an extra benefit. It's going to allow you to make superb passes a little bit more effectively. Okay, more superb passes are more SP. More brawlers hitting pals is more casualties, and that's more SPP. So this little suite of skills here are going to help to develop those ogres to start developing quicker. Then you can start adding second tier skills. Now when it comes to Noblars, they are going to score touchdowns, and you don't you don't really want to level them up. There are 2 cool things you can do. I do like having a Noblar with jump up. He becomes the primary paratrooper for either kicking or throwing. Being able to paratroop that Noblar into the backfield, and the fact that they've got 2+ Titchy, they can run anywhere. So you chuck him over the line on defense, and he's just going to be running around in your opponent's backfield. And all he has to do is stand by the ball carrier, and you are going to force your opponent to spend multiple activations. So he is sacrificial, but if they are spending activations in their backfield, they're not progressing the ball. And what that means is that they are not being able to apply additional support and additional actions to detract from the fact that you have got 25 points of strength, probably mixed in with their front line, brawling the heck out of it and using Mighty Blow to remove their players. So one Noblar in the backfield with jump up is going to be able to just tie up a couple of their players. And that's going to allow you to make the most of the fact that ogres are tougher than almost everybody in Blood Bowl. And the other thing you can do, though I haven't included in this list, is if a Noblar gets 2 touchdowns, it is really tempting to take a random general, okay? Rolling up wrestle, rolling up block, rolling up kick is brilliant fun. Rolling up sure hands is also excellent. It is worth it, okay? And because they're Noblars, they are free until they get a level up, essentially. So you can just save up with Noblars, roll a random stat up, just have some fun, roll some random skills, and then fire them if you don't want them. If a Noblar gets shadowing, run it for a couple of games. He's going to die, and that will fix yourself. That will fix the team value element itself. So don't be afraid to take some random generals. Don't take random agility. There's really no point when it comes to Noblars. Jump up is useful for 1 dude, maybe 2, just to be your paratroops to chuck in the backfield. Otherwise, what you want to be doing is focusing on giving these guys the SPPs, because the more ogres you've got and the more skills they've got, really the more powerful the team gets to be. Now we're going to ratchet it up to a league point of 1500, so 1.5 million build here. Now we're looking around about 1390, and the reason for that again is riotous rookies. We can buy them, but we're going to have to cap out at 14, 15 players so that we can get star players on if we need them. Never max out to 16, always go to 15. 100k to get a bunch of dudes that you don't care if they die because they're completely free at that point, just worthwhile. You can punch, you can throw, you can just do absolute nonsense with them. Now, getting to 1395 is going to take some time with your Ogre team. every other team has got 11, 12 players that you want to give skills to. In this team, you've only got 6, so you are going to have to slow brew this team up. It will take longer to develop than other teams. We've not boosted the team rerolls, we've kept our apothecary, but what we have done is we've spent that gold picking up our 6th ogre. So we've now maxed out all our positionals and we are cooking on gas. Now, what I said earlier about saving up SPPs, I genuinely think when it comes to the runt punter, its job is not to be in combat all the time because you've got that kick teammate element, because it does the other stuff. So you can afford to use the other ogres to be deployed, to be the fighters, and you can keep that punter back as kind of your safety. And that allows you to use him as a leader, caddy, and a kicker, and a blitzer, but you can save up those SPPs to get block. You can slow brew it because your punter is going to be in combat less than other ogres. It is less likely to need a combat skill super early on. So you can afford to wait to get block on that punter, but it is going to take a very long time. If you don't want to do that, which I completely understand, then Jugs if you want him to be a blitzer, or Brawler if you want him to be in the thick of things. With the punter's skill set, I do think I prefer Jugs as a blitzer. Now the reason I say that is because if you look at our other ogres, ogre number 5, who we picked up earlier on, has now gone Juggernaut. So it's going to be our primary blitzer. The Brawler guys have got guard because they are going to be blockers. They are going to be in the mix of things. And the reason guard is useful on ogre team, you may be thinking, I don't need guard, everybody's smaller than me. First of all, not everybody is going to be smaller than you. But secondly, guard works for fouling. So that is awesome because you can use some of your journeyman noblars. You punch a dude down with Brawler, you've got guard on him, run in, get the foul, get the +2 foul because you've got a couple of guard there, get the +3 foul because you've got even more numbers on the point. So guard is going to help that. It's also going to help you get free noblar blocks. Now that is not to be sniffed at. If you've got guard and some supports and you can take a 2-die block with a noblar, always do it. 1, it's hilarious, but 2, you're just getting another block. 3 blocks are going to help your team, and even if you end up casualtying a dude that you had a great block lined up with your ogre, what that means is you don't have to activate your ogre, so you don't have to roll that bonehead, so that player gets to stay active. That is going to be really key for your team. So Brawler and Guard on your blockers, basically. Then on your thrower, it takes Brawler. Now, Strong Arm is going to be really helpful for the times you want to throw stuff, but the rest of the time, Brawler is going to mean that he can be in combat. He can be one-on-one with someone. More than likely, he can be one-on-2 with someone, and that Brawler ability is going to help him keep powering down. And Jugs on your other guy means that you can start to develop a striker, a blitzer. So your punter and ogre blocker here are your 2 kind of reserves, and the other ones are going to stay on the line and murder stuff. When it comes to noblars, don't even worry about that. You can just keep farming them through, replacing them, rolling fun stat ups, doing stupid stuff with them, because that's what they're there for. They don't count, they're free. You may even end up getting a level 3 noblar at some point with like block and something else, and that is the stuff of legends. But he's not long for this world, and you certainly can't plan for it. And now the big roster. So if your league is sitting at 1750, we've got us at 1630-ish. Again, riotous rookies. Really important element of ogres. Otherwise, you end up getting your noblars wiped out and you're just running around with 6 ogres, which is still fun, but you're not going to get anything done. Okay, so at this point, we've still got 4 rerolls. You can pick up a 5th if you want. I think by this point, though, with the skills you've got on your guys, you're not going to need it. What we have done is fleshed out here with a dirty player noblar. So we talked about saving up, taking random stuff. Saving up and taking dirty player is going to combo beautifully with all of the guard that we have now picked up. So the punter himself, leader, block, break, tackle. Now break tackle with an edge 4+ ogre gives +2 to a dodge roll. So that is 2+ into the open, that's 3+ into 1 tackle zone, that's 4+ into 2 tackle zones. These guys don't have loner. So between leader and the 4 rerolls, you are 4+ing into 2 TZs. With a reroll, that is a 75% chance. So you've got your punter here, who is 75% to go into a 2 tackle zone cage and punch somebody, whoever you want to punch. That is Not the worst, okay? It's not the best by a long shot. That's still a 25% chance of your ogre snacking it into the ground, but you are kind of playing ogres because you want to roll high and murder stuff. So your 2 ogre blockers are going brawler, guard, and then break tackle as well, and the reason we're going break tackle on these guys is as we've just said. Now they've got guard. Brawler, they want to be in the thick of things. Guard allows everything around them to be stronger and it gives you those benefits to fouling. Break tackle allows you to redeploy. Now, if you want to know more about redeploying a player with guard, watch 7 Super Series, our first series. The ogre there, break tackle, guard, I think. Maybe didn't have break tackle. I think he did have break tackle. Being able to bounce out, swing that guard round to where you need it can absolutely be game changing. But like we just said, 2+ into the open, 3+ into 1 tackle zone, 4+ into 2 tackle zones, and with a reroll, that's a 75% chance. So what that does do is it makes ogres unstoppable. They're going to be able to break out and go and smash things when they need to. You've only got 6 ogres, but when they can start maneuvering like dark elves, you've got 6 ogres, and that means they can be everywhere at once. Now the thrower has also picked up break tackle, and that's going to aid them to be able to break away and go and throw the noblar that they need to throw. The Juggernaut dude has saved up and taken break tackle next. His role is to be the blitzer. Break tackle is going to mean he can bounce out on a 2+, and then Jugs means that on the blitz is going to be able to follow up. Adding tackle to that player is a great way to make him your safety. Now if you're in a league where your other teams are about 1750, saving up and taking that tackle is going to mean that you are rolling more often than not a 3-die Juggernaut tackle hit on a player. Because those players are going to be things like gutter runners. Those are going to be the ones that are in the backfield. Now, otherwise, a 2-die tackle Juggernaut attack is going to be pretty good too. And the 6th ogre has fleshed out as another ogre blocker. Brawler, guard, break tackle. Deploy those guys on the line, flanked by some noblars. You're going to be able to just scrum away and absolutely farm out that mighty blow. Mighty blow them down to the ground. If it doesn't work, you've got a noblar right by you with a couple of guard pieces to roll a +2, +3 foul. That's going to start removing players. Jump up on the noblar to paratroop, dirty player we've already spoken about. Now, before we move on with ogres, there's a couple of other things. The team has got so much potential, but it's going to take you forever to get there. So while we've got the punter with leader, block, and break tackle, it's going to take forever to get there. So you don't have to take leader if you want to. If you're happy to risk it to roll less, to just have less rerolls, you can skip that. And when it comes to things like tackle, you can do things very differently. Like I said, the proper way to do this is to wait 6 months until everybody's blocking. If you're going to wait for doubles on 2nd or 3rd level skills, it's going to take even longer, but there are some brilliant skills out there. Block is fantastic, tackle is fantastic, and I do love swinging frenzy on one of these guys, especially this guy. But then again, it just starts to become a Minotaur, and I think my veil of secrecy has been taken away because I absolutely love Minotaurs. You don't need that on an ogre team. Basically, what I'm saying, guys, is look at this as a stretch goal. This is where you want to go. You've got a set of skills. That leader is going to make your team more effective. Brawler is going to make your combat more effective. Strong arm is going to give you another throwing element. And one dude with jugs is going to mean you've got a primary blitzer. That's where you need to start with ogres. It seems limiting, and it is, because the team is limiting and challenging. Ideally, you'd want to save up, take pro on everybody, then block on everybody, then dodge on everybody. But that's not going to happen on tabletop. Doubles are gone. But you can plan for them. And what I'm saying is, at level 1, you're good to go. You've got 3 combat pieces, you've got a blitzer, you've got a thrower, and you've got an extra reroll. There's so much you can do with ogres. Don't hold back. This is the baseline, alright? The longer you save, the more interesting your team will be. But quite frankly, you can get here really quickly. Here's going to take a little while. Here's going to take even longer. And there is going to be a very long way for you to get all players in there at once. But you can afford to be creative because ogres are a bit of a meme team. They are a stunty team. They do not expect to be brilliant, and there's no pressure on you. If you want to just save up and take stat ups on your entire team the entire time, go for it. You will have a great time, and you will end up brewing up something really potent. But if you're going to go vanilla, you're going to follow the plan. At 1750, this team here will challenge most other teams. And that's what you want, because all it takes is a couple of good ogre blocks. and your opponent is down players, and that's when it starts to go really wrong. So that's your focus as an Ogre coach. Throw stuff at them, hunch things, and if your opponent's team starts to fall apart, just keep on piling that pressure on. If you want to go the star player route, like I did say at the beginning, all you got to do is drop this down one session. If your league is sitting at 1250, run your vanilla league. Run your vanilla 1 million 4-4 build. If your league's at 1500, look at the 1200 roster that we've talked through. Look at look at Griff, okay, he's 280. Basically, just take these rosters down one mode. You should be able to fit Griff in there, along with those riotous rookies as well. And at that point, your roster is basically a tournament roster. And you know what? Ogres do pretty well in tournaments. The Griff Ogre build is pretty awesome. And when it comes to a league, you're giving up your own identity. But if you're going to have fun running it, then I could not support you more. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up. Let me know what you think about Ogres in Blood Bowl 2020. I just flipping love Ogre teams. Lots of cool modelling opportunity. And as you can tell from here, when they start brewing up, they get really nasty. And that is what I love to see on the Bonehead podcast. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.